It's day 2. Just woke up. I'm gonna go ahead and have some coffee real quick. You won't catch me doing anything before I have my coffee. I may be able to give up my marijuana temporarily. Yeah, but not my coffee, guys. I know there's some people that say they stop drinking coffee and they'll tell you, I stopped drinking coffee. And whenever they tell me that, I just say, I'm sorry to hear that. Slept pretty good for the first night without any cannabis. Hopefully we can keep that up. Get my first protein shake made, and then we're heading straight to the gym. I'm gonna check my weight too. This is what we gotta do every day. This is how you get it done. Consistency, getting up, telling yourself you can do it, and then getting to work. Eating right, being in a caloric deficit, and then training, still training the muscles. That's what it's all about. I've found too that just getting some steps in after your leg day can help to loosen up some of the, the breakdown of the muscle and all that that's causing the soreness. But anyway, I'm feeling amazing. I forgot to say how great it feels to get your cardio in. Even though sometimes you're like, oh man, I gotta get up, go straight to the treadmill. Once you're like halfway through, you're like, I can't believe I didn't feel good to do this before I came here, because you feel amazing. I'm gonna get a meal in before I come back, hit shoulders and arms. And there was one other thing, but I can't think of it right now, so I know I'll remember later. Today's gonna be more focused on the actual training aspect, so we'll go in depth with that. Tomorrow, I'm not sure yet, but I know the day after that we're gonna do supplements. I've got a couple that are coming on the way, so I wanna talk to you about that, give you my tips and my suggestions for those. But every day there's gonna be something different. Anyway, I'm done. So I'm gonna stop this. Just to let you know too, I did have one of these raw protein shakes. We got 30 grams of protein in here, 150 calories, 4 grams of carb. So perfect way after sleeping all night and not having any protein to put that back into the body with just low carbs, because we're gonna go back and have a meal. It's gonna be high carb, get me ready for this workout. All right, we're back, and I need to find out how much calories are in this lime vinaigrette from Cafe Rio. I have a little bit of that left over. I figured, why not have about 2 salmon fillets? That's gonna be about 50 grams of protein. I've got 2 cups of basmati rice in there, so we're gonna be completely carved up for this workout today. I might throw in a salad, it depends on how hungry I am, or if I feel like I need a little bit more. But one of the things that you will have to do during your journey is when things like this come up, this is not labeled. There's no way for me to know how many calories are in here, what ingredients are in here, things like that. So I'm actually gonna look it up. And I'm willing to bet that this definitely has some lime juice in here, but also probably like some olive oil, or maybe like some soybean oil. I'm hoping it's olive oil, but then it's got like a ton of herbs and salt and things like that. So I'd be willing to bet this whole cup right here is probably about 80 calories if they're using some type of oil in here. But let's find out. Here it is. Cilantro lime. 1.5 ounces, 130 calories. So I'm going to literally just sprinkle my salmon with this. If I end up using half of that, I can take 65 calories. But the last thing I want to do is pour 130 calories worth of sauce onto my food. And that's why I tell you guys all the time, when you're eating meat and things like that, make sure you have some Frank's Red hot sauce. That one's got like 5 calories in there, 10 calories, something like that. So even if you were heavy-handed on there, you're not gonna hurt yourself. With stuff like this and these salad dressings that you have in the store, they're gonna be loaded with calories, so they're not gonna help you, especially if you don't know how to use them. So I'm glad I checked that. It's also got some sugar in there as well too. So a little disappointed to learn that there's 130 calories in there. All right, I got 2 salmon fillets in there and 2 cups of rice, like we talked about. A little bit of Valentina hot sauce on the rice just to give it a little bit of flavor. And speaking of the lime vinaigrette, I'm actually gonna scoop this with a fork. So that way, and actually, you know what? Let me turn the camera so you can see this. Like I said, I'm gonna scoop this with my fork here so that the majority that comes out is more like the seasonings and some of the flavor. I retain that. But I want to try to keep as much oil still in this little plastic cup as possible, because I really don't need that, and that's where I'm sure the majority of the calories are. And look at that, by doing it that way, we used half of it, just like we said we wanted to. What the fuck is this, man? Fucking advertisements every time I'm getting ready to start. Here we go. Get it. Whew. I already did 2 sets before we started filming. Blood is completely flowing. Carbs are loaded, feeling good. Let's do 1 more set. So I want to do this set with like a close-up on my shoulders just to see how it looks when I'm watching this back later on, see the progress that I've made. So don't mind it. All right, we got a superset coming. Shoulders and some brachialis. I'm a big fan of those tricep overhead extensions with the rope. You get a really good stretch on there, on that long head of the tricep all the way down. That's what you want if you want to put some size onto your arms. So always kind of start with those, and then you can finish off with like the press downs and things like that at the end. Get a little bit more of that definition in there. So now take those overhead extensions and superset it with a single arm rope press down like this. every now and then, it's good to activate that fast twitch muscle fiber with just some explosive reps, controlling it on the way up. All right, so now we're gonna raise the seat all the way up on these preacher curls and get a stretch from a slightly different position on the bicep. I'm sorry, I meant lower the seat. That way the position puts even more of a stretch on the bicep. Sorry about that. Lower the seat. Lean back a little bit. There we go. Come on, baby. So on those, as you can see, you don't need a ton of weight. Really, on everything that you do as a bodybuilder, that mind-muscle connection more than anything else. The weight is almost irrelevant. Of course, it comes into play sometimes, but not as much as you think. If you're on the outside and you've never gotten jacked before, I'm telling you right now, you will get more jacked if you lower the weight, focus on that mind-muscle connection, good form, good squeeze, good stretch. All right, so when it comes to abs, I'm not a fan of adding a ton of weight, especially if you have those love handles and you have a little bit more of a wider midsection. You don't need a ton of weight. Body weight will typically do it. So we're gonna do some hanging leg raises, and I'm gonna try to keep my form as controlled as possible, slow and controlled without rocking and swinging. Let's go ahead and check this pump. We'll go through. All right, that's it. Whew. Let's get something to eat.